Welcome, everybody. I think that's the official signal that we can get started. I want to welcome everybody to our most unusual campaign opening in the history of the Jewish Federation. I hope that everybody is safe at home, and I want to thank the staff for making sure that we did have a safe option for this. As all of you know, we had to pivot at the last minute, and I think that it's going to turn out great. We have a really exciting evening, and I want to start off by thanking Benish. Benish is our platinum sponsor for this evening and platinum sponsor for the campaign. And I just, so many great people at Benish that have been helping us over the years. And thank you very much for being a part of this evening and being a part of the campaign. I want to also recognize Erica Rudin-Luria, who is our president and leader. And you have just been an absolute rock during the COVID and everything. You've been just a phenomenal leader of our organization, of our teams, of our staff, of our whole community. And I can't thank you enough for that. And with that, I want to thank our staff. Our staff has done an incredible job, always relentlessly pivoting whenever something has come our way. That's, I think the word of this campaign is pivot, because that's what we've had to do every time we get thrown a curveball, and we've had so many. And the staff has just been incredible. The staff and the agencies working together to respond to our community has just been phenomenal. So thank you for all of that. And I couldn't be more proud. And speaking of proud, I'm very proud to introduce tonight Bradley Sherman, who is our general campaign chairman. Bradley, we're so excited. You're going to do a fantastic job. I've had an opportunity to hear you several times already in the community, and I think we're in for a real treat. Bradley is also joined by some incredible vice chairs, and I just want to introduce them here this evening, who have all played an integral role in what we do. The team is truly here for good. We've got Grant Dinner, Margaret Richards-Frankel, Mitch Frankel, Michelle Hirsch, Jared Miller, Sherry Perlmutter, Neil Waxman, Danielle Wild, and Andrew Zellman. So with that, we are going to kick it off with our debut video for 2021.
Our Jewish community has faced tremendous challenges, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. But we've been tested before, and we know that by working together, we can keep our community safe and healthy today, tomorrow, and all the tomorrows yet to come. The key to our community's enduring strength is its generous support of the Jewish Federation of Cleveland's annual campaign, year after year. Thanks to the dedication and compassion of Jewish Clevelanders, Federation is the security net our community needs in uncertain times like today. And like any year, the driving force that helps keep Cleveland one of the most vibrant and caring Jewish communities in the world. Because of you and your continued support, Federation is here for good. And together, we will always be here for good.
There it is, our campaign video. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2021 campaign for Jewish needs here in campaign headquarters, COVID style, my basement, which I have a feeling many of you have also your campaign headquarters or your headquarters in general in your basement. I just want to welcome everybody here today. It is, you know, I'm definitely missing that I didn't get to kind of stand outside and do the royal wave and have everybody come by car, because I really was looking forward to getting out of the house and seeing everybody. But you know what? It's probably better that I was not standing outside next to a gigantic electronic sign in a lightning storm. So this actually is a much safer option. And David is 100% correct. Thank you, David, for that wonderful introduction. He is right. We needed to pivot and be safe. And it's really just terrific just to reach out to all of you, because I cannot tell you how excited I am. The 2021 campaign is here. We've only been preparing for it for, I don't know, 8 months, but I got to tell you, it's here. It's here. You know, we have a chance in this moment to demonstrate the strength of our federation and the power of a community acting together. You know, through past campaigns, we've built a community we can all be proud of. We've invested in agencies that promote and protect, support those in need, programs that promote connections and social justice, and institutions that reflect our common Jewish values, but also embrace the diversity of our Jewish experience. We have created a community that is kind and a community that is resilient. Without the generosity shown in past campaigns, we never would have been in a position to respond as a community as quickly as we did in the face of the pandemic crisis. But that was then, and this is now. And while the past has prepared this community for the present, we need to seize the now in order to secure our future. We face challenges that are both unlike and like anything we've seen before. We are faced with a challenge that demands separation, but requires togetherness to fix. Here in the age of COVID, in our community, we are witnessing firsthand the heartache of isolation and the agony of uncertainty. I think we all know people who are relying on community food pantries to feed their families. I think we know people who are relying on the social services provided by Belfair and JFSA to stay healthy, stay safe, and quite frankly, sane. We know families that are committed to Jewish education, but without the support of Federation to provide a safe learning environment, those families would have to opt out and seek other opportunities for their children elsewhere. We know how important community conveners and institutions like the JCC could possibly disappear. We know that this virus and the accompanying isolation makes the lives of our older members of our community even that much more difficult. Simply put, we are experiencing the greatest threat to our community in my lifetime. Now, as written in the Cleveland Jewish News article, I had my doubts back in March. I'm only human. This is a lot, and there's a lot riding on this campaign. However, I feel my entire life has led me to this moment. For those of you who don't know me, and I'm sorry for those that have heard this before, but you get to hear it again, I talk about the miracles that shaped my life. There's really three of them. There's a miracle that brought me into this world and made me a Jew. There's a miracle that connected me with the woman who I have had the honor and privilege and blessing to share my life with over my entire life. I mean, over the last 35 years, sorry. Well, it's pretty much my entire life. And a miracle that brought me back from despair and darkness. I want to tell you a little bit about those. So I was born in 1968 to a girl who got kicked out of her house for being pregnant. She was 18 years old. She brought me to Belfair because they had been so kind to her during her pregnancy, and they helped connect me with my parents, Lois and Larry Sherman. And that connection is the root, the foundation of an amazing Jewish life I've had since then. My second miracle happened in the summer of 1985. I was on a mission that was funded in great part by the Cleveland Jewish Federation and my synagogue, Park Synagogue, that helped me kind of go and have this first experience. It's really the first time I'd ever left the country. And on the third day of that mission, the miracle happened. I met a girl. She was funny, she was smart, she was beautiful. She was from New Jersey, but we ended up forming a bond, and we've been together for 35 years. We've been married for most of that. And we have two wonderful children. Elizabeth, my wife Elizabeth, we have two children, Laura and Joanna. And that has been another blessing in my life. Miracle number three. So in my freshman year in college, I was down in spring break, down celebrating with my friends, and my mother came down to visit us down in Florida. She was actually going down to take care of my grandfather, and he happened to be just a town away, down in Boca. And I went out to dinner one night and kissed her goodbye, and then I got a phone call 3 hours later that she had been struck and killed by a drunk driver. I'm sure there's other people like me, but I'm a person who I can actually tell you was the moment that I grew into an adult. I know that exact moment. It was when I called my father to tell him that mom had died. I was 18 years old. And I went on a very bad spiral. I can't tell you anything about my mom's funeral. I can't tell you anything about college that happened right after that. I went back to school. I wasn't ready. And I became dark and I was a danger to myself and others. A friend of mine told me that I should stand with the community. He brought me to Northwestern Hillel and stood with me every day as part of a minyan so that I could say Kaddish for my mom. And being in the community in that moment brought me back from that despair. It gave me hope. It allowed me to go on. So I call these things miracles, but some people might see them that way, not see them that way. They don't see it as divine intervention. I do. Because I believe at pivotal moments in my life, something was there for me. Whether it was putting me on the right path, lighting my way, or putting me back on if I strayed off, that something was everything. It's us. It's the Jewish community. It's the Jewish people. Belfair is an agency supported by Federation. The trip that I met my wife on was a program funded by the Jewish Federation. Hillel is another agency of the Jewish Federation. All of these miracles showed me that when we set our minds and our hands, and quite frankly, our dollars to the pursuit of causes that save lives, build communities, and promote social justice, we set in motion events that are truly miraculous. So I am reminded that as a people, we have been here before. We've been on the precipice of crisis before. The Jewish story is about perseverance and continuity. Whether it was the Egyptians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Cossacks, or the Nazis, they tried to annihilate us. But we're still here. Whether it's anti-Semitism and acts of violence perpetrated by white supremacists who look to crush our spirit and make us feel vulnerable in our homes, in our schools, in our places of worship, we're still here. Whether it is the attempts to destroy our homeland, Israel, and all the threats that it's encountered over its 72-year history, we're still here. The Great Depression, 9/11, the Great Recession of 2008, we're still here. So, what's a little pandemic? Because when it's over, you know what? We'll still be here. We're here for good. And that's what it means to me. That's why this tagline that I'm sure I'm going to say 100,000 of times over the next 15 weeks means so much to me. For me, here for good means continuity. L'dor v'dor, that our community is resilient and strong, and that the Jewish Federation of Cleveland, through its annual campaign, is committed to keeping it that way. But it also means something else. It emphasizes that through community giving, we can do goodness. Goodness that feeds the hungry. Goodness that shelters the homeless. Goodness that gives voice and dignity to the vulnerable. Goodness that heals and sustains our community. So when I say we're here for good, I am expressing the essence of Federation, the essence of our community in 3 little words. Here for good. When I said my life has led me to this moment in front of all of you on this night, I am being completely serious. My life is a Jewish community story, a Federation story. It is part of who I am. It is why I'm involved in Jewish philanthropy and why I am committed to the success of this campaign. I know all of you on this call are just as committed to the Jewish community, and that you know what it takes to make a campaign successful. But it's my job, and to spell it out anyways. We need to act deliberately, we need to listen compassionately, and we need to give generously. Campaign is 15 weeks long. It closes on December 9th, roughly Rosh Hashanah to Hanukkah. But because 2020 has been such a big fat surprise party already, the only thing I can promise for certain is uncertainty. As we stretch into the fall, the campaign message is going to be fighting for attention with a presidential election, the next evolution of the COVID crisis, the continued ramp up of schools, football, and everything else that makes fall time fun time. So we got to sprint out of the starting blocks. The actions we take now while the leaves are still on the trees are going to matter. We need to move. And to kind of affect this, we've had some generous programs that have been put in place by members of our community to kind of get us off to an amazing start. The first one is the Mandel Match. For those of you that don't know, as I said, we got 2 crises. We have the annual campaign that we need to sustain all these amazing agencies, but we also have COVID. So what the Mandel Foundation has done is that for every increase to the campaign, the Mandel Foundation will match with an equal gift specifically related to the COVID crisis. It's just an amazingly generous offer. It's something that I hope people will take advantage of. And remember I talked about speed? The Brunswick companies have put in what we call the Brunswick bonus. So for every gift over $180 that closes during the first 18 days of the campaign, Brunswick Companies is going to provide $180 to our annual campaign. Hopefully that will spur us to quick action. You know, for those people that are solicited personally, I got to tell you something, you know who does it normally? Why not reach out to them and set up your meeting in advance? I know that's a wild idea, but it's so important that we move quickly. Whether you are a solicitor, and for those of you who aren't solicitors, we would love for you to join our ranks because it's so important to get people that are willing to help, or a donor. We really love our donors, or both. We want to share campaign with you. Now, I realize the pandemic limits our ability to meet in person, but I hope you will be a part of this campaign virtually. I want to show you some campaign events that I'd like you all to consider maybe being a part of. We'll get that slide up. Campaigner training sessions, September 2nd from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting this is because this is a different time for us to be soliciting. It requires a different set of skills. Many, you have them already. I'm not worried about anybody not having these skills, but there's an approach. There's a need to kind of get comfortable with the process. So and we've got a great presentation to help people get that way. So I ask that people who are still campaigners, and I know that we had a session before, and we had a little bit of trouble with the invite. So if you weren't able to be a part of that one, I really ask that maybe you come to the September 2nd one. We got Super Sunday on October 18th. It's coming. It is going to be a community event. We have something great planned for it. We have amazing chairs putting it together. We have virtual mini missions that see the impact of our collective dollars. And we have the campaign closing session 15 weeks from now on December 9th at 7 p.m. I hope to see people throughout this time. So, okay, I've asked a few members of our community to share with all of you what Here for Good means for them. And I'd like to open it up to them right now. So if I could ask, Rachel Glickman, are you there?
Here for our future.
That's great. How about, do we have anybody else? Who's next? Hey.
Michael Lamb from the security personnel.
Awesome. And you're here for the community security. Amazing.
Yeah, just for anybody that doesn't know, I'm one of the dedicated JFC security officers that's tasked with looking out for the safety of the community. And it's a task that we all enjoy doing because of the appreciation that's shown to us by the community.
Well, we are so grateful for all that you do for us. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Neil, how about you?
I'm here for Jewish continuity.
There you go. Thank you, Neil.
I'm an officer. Okay, you don't want me to do my rest of my stuff now.
I want you to go.
I'd like to say something. I'd like to say something else. I'd like to say a couple things real quickly. One is I've been vice chair of the campaign for a long, long time. Under several chairs, and every year, every time the chair changes, I think somebody can't be as good as the last. And Bradley just knocked the ball out of the park, and I'm inspired by you. I love you. I am here for Jewish continuity because I believe it's the foundation of our future, and all the things that Federation does to support continuity, like maintaining and growing Jewish peoplehood locally, nationally, and overseas, from day schools to synagogue schools, to camping, to Hillel, to J-Hub in Cleveland, to immersive travel opportunities for teens and young adults, to Israel, to rekindling Jewish life in a vibrant community in St. Petersburg. Jewish continuity was front and center in my home growing up. It said, a Jew is not necessarily someone whose grandparents are Jewish, but rather someone who wants their grandchildren to be Jewish.
I think that's amazing. And Neil, I'm sorry, we hadn't practiced this in advance because of the pivot, so I didn't mean to cut you off. I am so glad you said that.
No problem.
And thank you, Neil, for being a part of my vice chair team. You are amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Brittany, you there?
It's me first.
Oh, you first. Sorry.
Hi, Jenny Galili here for
Jenny.
Strengthening
Sorry.
Families. Oh, that's okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Jenny Galili here for Strengthening Families at JFSA and throughout our community.
Well, thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Jenny.
I did.
How about Brittany? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
So what are you here for good?
I am here for usability.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of our campaign celebration, our opening ceremony. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So now I'd love to hear from all of you. I think a lot of you got the got these. I think many of you got these signs, and it says it has a little blank there. So take a minute and write in what you're here for. I know I've written mine. Oh, mine's upside down. I'm here for all of you. So write down what you all think, what you're all here for. I'd love to see a Zoom screen gallery view that has a bunch of signs up. And if also, please put it in the chat box. I'd love you to include what you're here for in the chat box. I know some people have been chatting. Just please put it in. So maybe we can all get our signs up, or we can put it in the chat box. Great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. It's just so amazing to be a part of this community. Thank you so much. So, all right, I've gone on too long. So I want to wrap it up. First, I want to thank again David Heller, our board chair, for everything that he has done. And thank you for having faith in me to do this job. It means a lot to me. I want to thank my campaign vice chairs and the campaign liaisons for being such a wonderful part of our leadership team. I want to thank all our wonderful campaigners for volunteering. This time is so important. This campaign is so important, and thank you. You're going to receive your campaigners kits if you haven't already done so. And if you don't get your kits, please contact us to make sure that we get them for you. If you happen to drive by Richmond Road, I think you saw that big sign that didn't want to necessarily stand next to in a lightning storm, but it's supposed to be a surprise, a welcome to the community, and there's going to be other surprises throughout the campaign. Just because we have to be apart doesn't mean that we can't be together. I want you to follow us online. Encourage people to share stories and photos of all the good work we do around Jewish Cleveland by posting them on social media using the hashtag Jewish Cleveland and hashtag Here for Good. And I also want to remind people about Access Jewish Cleveland. It's available if you or someone you know is struggling during this increasingly difficult time. We want to be there for people. So please, if you know someone that's struggling, share this with them. We want to be there. Okay, I want to finish on an upbeat note. Okay, now more than ever, we must live in the moment and listen carefully to each other's stories. Please remember, our community is a long game. We want everyone to be a part of it for life, and we want them to instill in their children a desire to be a part of it as well. We know people are hurting, and that includes our donors, and that includes probably some of the people on this call. I am prepared for the fact that some people may not be able to increase their gifts this year. And in fact, some of the gifts may go down. But as far as I'm concerned, here is what I'm going to say in that moment. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being one of us. And there will be better days. But for those of you that can afford to be generous, now is the time to do it. It's the time for all of us to step up. It is our responsibility to the community to say, Hineni, here I am. I am here for good. I promise you that if we work together, when this is over, we will have an unbelievably successful campaign. So here's my charge, what I want to leave on, my call to action. Ask yourselves, how are each of you going to make sure that our community is here for good? How are you going to make sure that our federation is here for good? Thank you all so much for spending your evening, a little bit of your evening with us tonight. Be well, stay safe. Good night. I hope to celebrate with all of you at another time. Bye.